Salam, 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 Quran, Kurat, Hwat. Today we have a special press conference with our Afarian brothers, Wudibat leaders, media centers, media outlets, Team Freedom, Yaakil, Arduf, EANC, Afar Press Conference. We have an urgent, important message, a new development to deliver to the people. And without further ado, I will go around the horn and introduce everyone that's here with me as my guests. I wanted to say thank you for participating and allowing this moment to happen. First and foremost, I will let Brother Ahmed introduce himself. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you, Brother Captain David. My name is Ahmed Yusuf Mohammed. I am the president of Eritrean Afar National Congress, the EANC.
Thank you, sir. Aboy Haile Mariam.
Haile Mariam Tesfai Bahal, Aval Nai Ertrawi, Sumratin Democracy Awloti.
Thank you, sir. Aboy Mohammed Ibrahim.
Unmute.
محمد إبراهيم دعستا عفر بوموكو أمريكا السعال هانيو ويشا أكل كهنمي تنيه الحالة تطول الله قداي محمد إبراهيم دعستا قد
Thank you. And then next we have Brother Mulu Burhan.
My name is Mulu Burhan Tamalso. I am the Director General and founder of Foundation Human Rights for Eritreans based in Amsterdam, Netherlands.
Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. We have from everyone knows Brother Tedros Mangustu from Teddy Press. Go ahead, Brother Teddy. Okay, Brother Teddy. We'll go to Brother Shaheem.
My name is Shaheem Abdullah Shaheem. I'm a member of ENC. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And then Team Freedom, Yaakov Movement, Brother Jonas.
Yeah, my name is Jonas. I'm with Team Freedom and also a Global Yaakov Movement Diplomacy Department, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, David. Thank you so much for welcoming me. Also, I'm broadcasting is online at the same time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for broadcasting and helping us. Okay, brothers and sisters, today for our press conference, we're going to go ahead start with our brother Muhammad Ibrahim. He will be able to break it down in Afarian and Amharic as well, because both nations need to hear this. Without further ado, go ahead, brother Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Afar ummata badai barri bahri roya talim ki hana taka. Assalamu alaikum sini salih. Ya keni han aibi ke tarikh tani miti rabte tan to buku ya Allah dunya khaira ken hi hayai ra'atin kadu biya kar ra'atin hi al aafati hayai كم بره مراتي كين قرأته ثم كين كتاب طب في ما يلي حاره توي لخلاص أفكر الدول فنما آية كين هني حالة كي عيب التيتا أفر بارو المحطة كي ينتهي تو كون هرشيتو في ساي سومالي رسي دارتها كيني جبوتي رسي دارتها كيني هن عيسي نبارو ساجداي نبارو الموقعداي حاكيني كي سعودي كي كهنتانها هواش لي عبرنو هواش دريف الدفترنو بعرلا بينو هنهن نميا إيروه معلومة مريتان كي هي اللي خبزينو وباروني مرحكو عفر باركو أبانا هني وراركي بوكسوي أعيب كايا كبي تعيبتي هذا بقى حسان وعفر أبتهاي إيرولنا نودانا ندود هاي نانكاد إنكي الدبنا أبنا نكفدين كادا بيكادنا كي بريه النعب تولي دبعكنا يعنك فدينتا ويسا توه بتميا كلا هيكي عن عيب يساقو إثيوبيا هدل تجري دولتك رعتيتا إثيوبيا أمحراكي أبي أفكك بيتا سياس دعوت هاي ست هينهي تجري دولة بايسان متكاكي بيتيني مكي دقوب السين هذا يساقو توه محاي تجري ينعبينهن تجري أخدوم الصومالي خبيني ويسا أورومو خبيني أورومو السعودي أينيهم فدراليزمي سوهي يم فدين تا داره دورم بو فدين تا دو ورقة السجيه دقوم بين الكاسو تهم ما أيسو بينال بسوها كهي ينها فدراليزمي دينتو كل نو بيساد دهرين تو عليه إسي سبين إساه سافة بارتا إسي سمة عتا تحاجيدا بسوي إنت فردين تنتهي تنورم السعودي تك أنا ما كنك هدل هني سومالي رسول تكن تاريني توي لكلا تجرا العيب فكان ما تيمتيني تجرا العيب فكان وقاهمتيني أبي كي إسياسة إسرائيل بسوا هاي تجداي كم قوتيني ينكادوا من حري سعودي أول سبته تندين تجحسانا جداي توكلي تجرا حيل اللي هي اللي كي رعت يبتملي أبتدي تملي كي تجرا عيب ابن يعرفوا عيب كايا كم فدراليزم بيسانه ويسأول سبتين تهني جحسانا جدكها كايسة بدت ما تهينا تو يثبتها تجرا الدنو أفر الدنو غير متدنو كو تنمنو بهدينتو أسمراكي أديساب لا إسن عمري يسوع هانا جدها أبانا هنجتلتو عفر مت دودك كيلك حرب بتاعت الفريق بتابقسا كلها أو اللي نبهنا النلا وتجرات إنكي ترجو بعيب أبتايانا مجاعك يانا كها عيب أبتما أبي يكي سياساي كنتم مقوله تنيتان دقوم ركيتاي توسبتها رعة متا تجري مت تقصده متناي عفر مت تجري مت تقصده متناي أو أي تجري كي عفر فنت دقوم يكيف سجبودو سولك بدها تجري دولة هابوك اللي هي ابنه ويس تجراي عنده كلا عنده اللي هي ابنه أفرت يكفي أنا أفرت كم فنا ليكتعبي يكم مفردين تاي يكفي تنمي سلطان فردين تا اتقوا أنا اختنكي اتقوا أنا ما أفرت تايستان ما تجراي بوتيكي كلا عنده تجراي كا اللي هي ابنه هنا نيجي توهبين على سله ويسا عيبي سولا ماي أفرت كبوك تجراي كبوك نحن حقانه هنا نيجي تدحرسنا ماي ويسا السلام عليكم محاوي أهل كلا طلع عفر فادوه يا مراي ام حرف يا بهنه ام حرافه هيديو هو كاتاتي السلام عليكم لما الله يجهز يما السلام
Thank you. Abu Hamid, are you going to go? So you spoke in Afari and now you're going to speak in Amharic?
Yes, that's our. That's
Thank you. Thank you. Let the audience know. Go ahead.
لما الله يجهز إما استلالفوا ملكتك أفر أبيوتاي ديمقراسياوي جيمبار የዛሬው አጀንዳችን በኢትዮጵያ እየተካሄደ ያለው ጦርነት በተለይ በሰሜን ከትግራይና የኢትዮጵያ መከላከያ ሰራዊት እንበለው የአብይ መከላከያ ሰራዊት በሰሜን በኩል ደግሞ የዲክቴተር ኢሳያስ ሰራዊት ከዛ ደግሞ ሌሎች ጽንፈኛ ኃይሎች ተባብረው የትግራይን ህዝብ ለማጥፋት የትግራይን እንቅስቃሴ ለመግታት ፌደራሊዝምን ከዛ በላይ ፌደራሊዝምንም ለማጥፋት እና የነበረው የድሮ የአህዳዊ ስርዓትን ለመመለስ የሚደረግ ትግል መሆኑንና ይሄ ትግል ደግሞ በአይዲዮሎጂ ደረጃ ያለው የፌደራል ሲስተም አጥፍቶ ድሮ የነበረው አህዳዊ ስርዓት ለመመለስ የሚፈልጉ ኃይሎችና ስልጣናቸውን ለማራዘም ደግሞ ኢሳያስና አብይ የሚያካሂዱት ጦርነት ስለሆነ መላው የኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ ይሄንን ጦርነት እንዳይሳተፍ ለምን እያንዳንዱ ብሔረሰብ ካሁን በፊት በነበረው የክልላዊ አስተዳደር ለማጥፋት የተነሱ ኃይሎች ስለሆነ ይሄንን ለማጥፋት ነው የትግራይ ኃይል ለማጥፋት ውሳኔ ላይ የደረሱትና የትግራይን ኃይል ካጠፋን ሌላ የሚደራደረን አይኖርም ፌደራሊዝምን በቀላሉ እናጠፋለን ከሚለው እሳቤ የተነሱ ስለሆነ ማንኛውም ኢትዮጵያዊ ይሄንን ጦርነት በመቃወም ከቻለ ከትግራይ ኃይሎች ጋር በመተባበር ምክንያት ፍላጎታችንም እኛም የትግራይ ኃይሎችም አንድ ነው እያንዳንዱ ህዝብ ራሱን በራሱ የማስተዳደር መብት እንዲጎናጸፍ በራሱ ቋንቋ በራሱ ባህል የራሱን ታሪክ የራሱን ሀገር ኑሮት በፌደራል ደረጃ በእኩልነት ከሁላችን የተውጣጣ መንግስት ተቋቁሞ ያ መንግስት ለተለየ ለአንድ ብሔር ወይም ብሔረሰብ ሳይሆን የሁሉንም ኢትዮጵያ ህዝቦች በሙሉ በአንድ አይን የሚያይ እንዲሆን ከሁሉም የተውጣጣ የፌደራል መንግስት ኖሮን በክልል ደረጃ እያንዳንዱ ህብረተሰብ የራሱ ይመቸኛል ባለው ቋንቋ ባህል ታሪክ ራሱን እንዲያበለጽግ በወንድማማችነት በእኩልነት በአንድ ላይ ለመኖር የሚያስፈልገን ይሄ ነው ይሄንን ለማጥፋት የሚፈልጉ ኃይሎች ደግሞ የሁላችን ጠላቶች ስለሆኑ ሁላችንን መዋጋት ያስፈልገናል በተለይ ከትግራይና ከአፋር አካባቢ የሚሰሙ አንዳንድ ግጭቶች እነዚህ ለዚህ እኩይ ዓላማ የተሰባሰቡ ኃይሎች ሆን ተብሎ የሚቀሰቅሱት ስለሆነ ከትግራይ መከላከያ ኃይልና ከትግራይ መንግስት ባለስልጣኖች በሙሉ ተነጋግረናል በአፋርና በትግራይ ውስጥ ምንም አይነት ግጭት እንዳይኖር ወደ ግጭት የሚያደርሰን ምንም አይነት ሁኔታ የለም እኛ አብረን ለረጅም ጊዜ በሰላም የምንኖር ህዝቦች ስለሆነ ይህንን ሁለት ህዝብ የእኩይ ዓላማ ተከታዮች እና መልእክቱን በመቃወም ችግር ካለ ተነጋግሮ መፍታት ልክ ድሮ እንደሚያደርጉ እየፈቱ በሰላም አብሮ እየኖሩ በሰላም አብረው መታገል እንዳለባቸው ለማሳሰብ እወዳለሁ አመሰግናለሁ
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. We like to let our brother Ahmed go ahead and follow through on the next step. Thank you for speaking Afarian and Amharic for the audience. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Brother Ahmed.
Thank you, Captain. And I will start with Afar briefly and then follow in English. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مساك الله كنا بدنا لهتين مدير عفر متكان إلا نيتسل العين أنك حسة بكون كيس. السلام عليكم سيني هربنا حقي لك أويا ينهي حالة تتكلم هيدرالي تيابر حيو بس وهو كنا هرتا وتاكمي ميتوت يابيو حقي لك إنجليزي هفاس نيما سوينا مدعاكي ونتونا تنيمة يابيو فيروك أمودر متكا دي أساكو حربية ملكا كيكي علولكي displacement حدد كيتين تحت نهتن نيتو بكيو نما عندك نيكاستي أفرقا كي هدل حربي سنه قبل اللويني سنه اقتلعي وين هي أموكينك أما أجد يكيه هنيا بيكينت كاكتيك يمكي رابتيمي هي اللي رحمة هاي رعتيتني هي اللي إيمانك سابريكي سني بارو قلال للتانا سني متخاي تانهتيني سينك في ارتحكي سنرده بقول راب تحتني دماغ فراباك سكته تهلو سن دعوتنا النمسيني ورسنا نميها كا حربي اسم حربي يي ما يبلال أحد نيي عسقني ما يبلال عسقني إني ما سوينا هفكاي و ما يبلال مانجو يعني هي مني همري برابر سليه تاني تنها مشكلات دلام فراه يعني هي مري مانجونا عفر متيف منه نو بسقني تو ما يبلال نيي عسقني هنا ما يبلال انتهى تاني تنمي ننوع إريتريا أفره ديمقراطي كونغرس كنينو أني مسوينا إدي يابته تنمي بارسلوك حد حري براكس ساكوك حد كانوا كعهنا نهنا شعبية أبنهنا نناف كنكتنه تهمو شعبية صدون سنته يسيبارلو توي تجرايل أبوك سكتني akibaru takkehtani samad baisaya barukak nagarakai baruk diriakai waisarahiyya soddon sanata aadeweheniyan samad baisaya shacbiya afar dankali haddal bahak suktehiyata yabah to umane gerakteneki afaradda duma tigray xuleni sugeni tigray albaiseni heninimi mangohtani tan refugee baisakai umane sinibaro أبيني هني نماني تقرأ لك هابين إنها أفرك كي هدل تكمي كلاتا تحكي ويتم فردين تاهر حكو إدمة الرسوك نهنا ننتياي تو عدي تو ما كنت نيتي في مسوك تهتني تان تو بكوتني تو بكوكو تو يانا ملتني انتون ناي نانو فرتيو عدي كار عسوك إنها أفر بيك نبياكاي أفر أمتا إرت إتوبي هدل تكيهتني تنمي بارسلوك تو أما إثيوبيا هذا لين تحتني تنا فرقة بياك تنا بياك تنا نايس الدقة سيدو حاكا نمسوينا شعبية اللفقن الناني ويلو تو برابر سليه تني تن إريتريون معارضة تكو أو يكادو تجراي دولة تجراي ديفنس فورس حدلو أشعبية كل لك لناني هن دعوت كحكاي ننو عدوي يلا كني ني عدوي إساياساي إساياسات نفكون هنا اللي نفكون هنا ويلو لك مانجو ويلو تامي تجيتنا أو أيتو بقولتي محمد كهرب كأنها سعولتت كينك نانجورو هنا وعدي كادو إريتريا النابكاي إريتريا فالمالينو ويا أكل تكهتني تنمي تادين فردينته أمتك بيك يقفيه يعني كتدي هذا هاي تايسر راسين كي عفر فنات يعني هن عداوتها أي سادو كوي سن عدوت اللي قوس التناهتين سن تهرجين ما عفر بيكا فوحة هرحي وقدي هرحكو ومر اللي لنوه لنا فرصة تا يوك الدايسك توبكويت محمد الديا بس جه تويا عفر فيه فرم يكتم جتكه قد Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Shall I continue in English right now, Brother David? Do I have the time?
Yes, yes, sir. Speak. Go ahead. Continue English.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone for who's attending, press from media and supporters. What I was just referring to in Afar is basically the current situation in the Afar and who we are as Eritrean Afar National Congress. Our organization is dedicated to self-determination of Afar in Dankalia, and our people are faced with ethnic cleansing, displacement. The Afar population, as reported in various United Nations human rights reports, are facing unprecedented a threat against existential threat is going on in Dankalia. So our organization is fighting against the tyrannical regime of Isaias Afwerki, and we are collaborating with whoever Eritrean-led forces, including making ties and solidarity with the people of Tigray and leadership and Tigray Defense Forces. We will do whatever it takes to remove this tyrannical system in Eritrea for the Afar and for all Eritreans. As far as our joint conference here, we are very much excited that we are part of such a unique organization. Arduf Ugugumo is one of early Afar resistance movement. In the 70s, the Ugugumo have been fighting for their self-determination. This, in a way, it reminds me in 1970s, early power when the Eritreans were fighting for their self-determination. The Afar in ELF have made link 50 years ago to support each other, the Afar from Eritrea and the Afar from Ethiopia. They were fighting for the same cause at the same time. 50 years back now, 50 years later, we are doing the same thing with the Afar from Eritrea and the Afar from Ethiopia to join our forces, giving each other, advice and how, to remove tyrannical system that is oppressing our people in all respective in both of our countries. So the Ugugumo have been there from the beginning, and our joint efforts will certainly help the Eritrean cause. We are, as I mentioned, 50 years ago, our elder generations have came to the aid of the Ugugumo, the young Ugugumo, that back then, as Ethiopian nations of nationality, were fighting for the rights of self-determination. And at that time, the Afar elders were pretty much helping and giving their expertise in training and military training. And back then, this is in fact a new day of Afar resistance. So we are very much excited that this can this unity between the Afar from both sides to help each other, because our enemy is one. Isaias Afwerki and Abiy Ahmed have imposed their centralist, they are racist policy towards the our brothers and sisters in Tigray, but not only in Tigray, in Oromo. Like my brother Mohammed was saying from Arduf, when the resistance that you see right now, even though the torch is carried by TDF, first the Abiy government have attacked Somalis, attacked the Oromos. The Oromos, as you know, people like Johar Mohammed, Bekele Gerba, and those freedom fighters and those who democratic leaders have been imprisoned, and not everyone was fortunate enough to pick up an arm and defend themselves. That's what Tigrayans did. they are fighting for the cause of nations of nationalities all over the world. I mean, all over Ethiopia. So this is we are tied because we are making this forging ties with Afar in Ethiopia because our enemy is Isaias Afwerki. This Isaias Afwerki is coming back to Ethiopia to directly affect our refugees are under threat. As you know, there's 100,000 Afar refugees in Afar regional estate. Their lives are under threat, and we know what happened when the Afwerki regime entered Tigray. Many, almost 2 camps have completely dismantled. People hijacked. People went back. No one knows where they went. People killed, rapes. All of this is the cause of Abiy and his counterpart from Eritrea, Isaias. So there is no any other option but as a people, we need to fight hand in hand with Ethiopians, with Tigrayans, with the Oromos, as Eritreans, we need to join the efforts of removing this cancerous regime from Eritrea. So as I leave it at that, I know it's everyone have questions. If anything, I'm more than happy to answer. But thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Brother Ahmed. Following you, we will go to, I know a lot of people are asking questions, listening. Some are extremely supportive here. There's going to be a lot of questions about why should we unite with Tigray to defeat Isaias. As a press conference, I would like people to ask questions, and I'll highlight the questions for the board panel. And if you need them to answer the questions, they will. We will go with Memher Hailemariam. He's next. If you can highlight on this. Thank you, Abu Hailemariam.
Your mic is off.
Is he muted?
سلام أغني اللي زي بحاو أحمد يوسف بريزيدنت ناي ود بهراو قبا عفر إيرترا سلا زعد مني بزله ود بنان ود بومن أب زي ما كل محدرهن مسر سوساني مزلنا ناي حبار ريتو فلي عركنت علنا بفلاي دما أبزي بدوات ناي إيرتران إثيوبيان زكاير زلو كلتيوتي ب جغرافياو قمامط استفالي هاجر كوين زلو حزبي ابن حدو خيواغا بسلام كفتح بزلنا مرغص ندغف زي لومي ابزي مهلاوي سوليداريتي ود بيراو غباي عفر إيرترايو ندان مغلاص يمصي زلهو غنيله.
Thank you, sir. Moving
Thank you, brother.
Moving to our brother Mulu Burhan. Give us your intake on this.
يغني لي مجبرتا نخلقكم تقالستي نتي سبعوي كبرتات رحقوا زلو حزبنا سبعوي كبرتاتو منبر كم سب نخلو تقالست زلكم كلكم تقالست زلن خبري زلني ملأت دغف كغلص يفتو نخلو تغبرو قالس خا زلن ادناقت يغلص بحفشو تحيزنا دلو سرعت ناي زيو ناي تيو كتبلو تخل ايكونن ابز حلفه شومنت تشعت اوارح اب لعلي اب تግራይ زنبرو سدتኛታት ኤርትራውያን اب لعلي معسكرات حنصاصن شملبان زورده ጨውያ መቅተልትን ማእሰርትን ክሳብ ሕጁን እንዳሃዮም ዘይተ አበይ ከም ዘለው ዘይተፈልጡ ብዙሓት ስደተኛታት ኤርትራውያን ገፊፉ አበይ ከም ዘእቶም ዘይፍለጥን ገለውን ካብ ኤርትራ እንደገና መሊቆም ኣብዚ ሰዓት እዚ ኣብ ገለም ኣብ ማዕስከራት ማይ ዓይንን ኣዳሓርሽን ከምኡን ኣብ አዲስ አበባን ይርከቡ ማለት እዚ ከምዚ ኢሉ እንከሎ እቲ ኣብ ልዕሊ ዞም ስደተኛታት ዝወረደ ኩሉ ዓይነት ኣደራዕ ኩሉ ዓይነት ፀገም ኩሉ ዓይነት መከራ በቲ ኣብ ዓድና ወይ ኣብ ሃገርና ዘሎ ካብ ኣብራኽ ነፍሶ ከፍ ስድራ ዝወፀ ንዕኡ ከዓ ዝሃነፀ ስርዓት ናይ ህግደፍ እዩ ዝኸውን ዘሎ ማለት እዩ ሕጂ ድማ እቲ ኣብ ክልል ዓፋር ዝርከብ ኣብ ክልተ ማዓስከራት ዝርከብ ህዝቢ ስደተኛታት ካብ ናይ ኤርትራ ዓፋር ከምኡውን ምስቲ ኣብ ክልል ዓፋር ተዋሂዱ ዝነብር ከምዚ ክቡር ሓው ኣሕመድ ዮሱፍ ክብሎ ዝፀንሐ ልዕሊ 100,000 ዝኾኑ ስደተኛታት ኣብቲ ዞባ ኣለዉ ማለት እዩ ናይ ምእታው ናይ ሻዕብያ ወይ ናይ ህግደፍ ወይ ናይ ሰራዊት ኢሳያስ አፈወርቂ ናብዚ ናይ ክልል ዓፋር ኣብ ዝሓለፈ ክልተ ሰሙን ካብ ዕለት 12 ወርሒ 8 ኣትሒዝና ዝተረጋገፀ ሓበሬታ ረኺብና እቲ ሓበሬታ ብትእትታው ናይ ዞባዊ ሰራዊትን ኣጋር ከቢድ ብረትን ተፈላለዩ ናይ ከቢድ ብረት ኣባላትን ንዓፋር ከምኡ ድማ ኣብ ናይ ዞባ ደቡብ ድፍዓት ከም ዝተፀግዐ ንውሽጢ ኣብ መሬት ናይ ትግራይ ከም ዝዓረደ ኣብ ዓዲ ጎሹ ዝበሃልን ኣብ ከባቢ ሕመራ ሰቲት ሕመራ ከዓ ብብዝሒ ሰራዊት ኣትዩ ከም ዘሎን ብንጹር ኣብቲ ቦታ ሓበሬታ ምስ ረኸብና ንዝምልከቶ ንሕና ነቲ ኣብቲ ዞባ ኣብ ዘይውሕስ ኩነት ዘሎ ስደተኛታት ህዝብና ንድሕነቱ ክንብል ንዩኤንኤችሲአር ይኹን ንዩኤን ኣጀንሲስ ፎር ሬፊጂስ ይኹን ነዚ ሓበሬታ እዚ ክንህቦም ክኢልና ኢና ሳዕ ሕጂ ዘለና ጭቡጥ ሓበሬታ ከዓ ናይ ኢሳያስ ሰራዊት ናብ ክልል ዓፋርን ኣብ ናይ ሰቲት ሕሞራ ዞባ ክሳብ ዓዲ ጎሹ ዘሎ ግንባርን ብዝተፈላለየ ክፋል ናይ ኤርትራ ከዓ ካብ ባዳ ጀሚርካ ክሳብ ባድመ ወይ ክሳብ ሰቲት ስጋብ ተከዘ ዘሎ ኣትዩ ከም ዘሎን ከም ዝተሰምዕዎ ዘለኹም እውን ኣብዚ ዝሓለፈ 3 መዓልቲ የጥቅዕ ከም ዘሎ ፈሊጥና ኣለና ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ምትእትታው ናይዚ ስርዓት እዚ ኣብ ልዕልቶም ብሰንኩ ዝሃደሙ ስደተኛታት ኣብ ትግራይ ዘውረዶ ኣደራዕ ኣቕሊልካ ዝርእስ ዘይኮን ንዕኡ ዝኸውን ከዓ ዓብይ ሰነድ ኣዳሊና ንዝምልከቶም ምስ መሻርክትና ተስቲሞኒስ ተኻይድሎ ሪኢኹም ትኾኑ ኢኹም ብዙሕ እዋን ዘርጊሕናዮ ኢና ኣብኡ ዘለና ምስ ፕሮቴክሽን ዲፓርትመንት ናይ ዩናይትድ ኔሽን ሃይ ኮሚሽን ፎር ሬፊጂስ እውን ምስ ናይ ዝተፈላለዩ ዓበይቲ ማዕከናት ዜና ክስነድ ኣለዎ ስለ ዝበልና እናሰነድና ንኸይድ ኣለና እዚ ኣደራዕ እዚ ኣብ ልዕልቶም ኣብ ዓፋር ዕቑባ ሓቲቶም ዝነብሩ ዘለዉ ኣሕዋትና ስደተኛታት ዓፋር ከይወርድ ዘለና ዓብይ ክፍታ ከዓ ደጊምና ንማሕበረሰብ ዓለም ንፅውዕ ኣለና ማለት ስለዚ ምትእትታው ናይዚ ስርዓት እዚ ናብ ክልል ዓፋር ማለት ነቶም ካብ ዞባ ደቡብ ቀይሕ ባሕሪ ናይ ኤርትራ ዝተሰደዱ ኣሕዋትና ዓፋር ካብቲ ስርዓት ሃዲሞም ከብቅዑ ተመሊሱ በዚ ስርዓት እዚ ኣብ ልዕሊኦም ክኸይድ ዝኽእል ናይ ሞት ናይ መጭወይትን ናይ ማእሰርትን ኣብ ልዕሊኦም ክኸይድ ንዝኽእል ኩሉ ዓይነት ሕሰም ናይ ወዲሰብ እቲ ኣብ ዓዶም እንከለዉ ዝረኸብዎ መከራ ኣብኡ ስዒቡ ከም ዘይምሕሮም እኳ ደኣ ኣብ ልዕሊኦም ካብቲ ኣብ ልዕሊቶም ኣብ ትግራይ ዝነበሩ ስደተኛታት ብዝኸፍአ ንምፅናት ዘርኢ ኤሪትራውያን ዝተዓጠቐ ስርዓት ከም ምዃኑ መጠን ብዝበዝሐ ክገብሮ ምዃኑ ዘለና ስክፍታ ንሕና ኣቐዲምና ንዝምልከቶም ኣብ ወዲሰብ ዝግደሱ ትካላት ሓቢርና ኣለና ሕጂ እውን ኣብዚ ፕረስ ኮንፈረንስ ተረኺበ ብሽም ፋውንዴሽን ሁማን ራይትስ ፎር ኤሪትሪያንስ ነዚ ዘረባ እዚ የስማዕ ኣለኹ ማለት እዩ ኩልኹም ክቡራት ተቃለስቲ ንኤርትራውያን ኣብ ሕሰምን መከራን ንዘለዉ ንኸተገላግሉን ከም ሰብ ንቡር ሰብኣዊ መሰሎም ተኸቢሩ ንኽነብሩ እትገብሮ ቃልሲ ዘለኒ ደጊመ ይገልጽ ይፈቱ ንዝገበርኩም ለይ ዕድማ ከዓ የቐኒየለይ ይብል
Thank you, Brother Mulu Burhan. That's much appreciated. Very clear and concise. We appreciate the support in the fight to liberate all Eritreans and Ethiopians. That's much appreciated. Brother Shaheen, you want to give some input in this? You're on mute.
There you go. Thank you very much. And I'd like to start by extending my condolences to the families of victims of victims of this war, family of victims of this war, selfless war. And the first thing I want to say is really like at Afar, we had nothing to do with this war. We didn't plan the war. We didn't start the war, and we didn't fight in the war. But it's still, the war came to us. So what I like to say is that atrocities that happen in Galikoma and places like that should be investigated by independent parties, and perpetrators of this crime should be brought to justice. At the same time, we worried about the refugee population that's in Afar refugee population that is in Ethiopia, because we heard from Brother Ahmad and the other Brother Mulu, there's an evidence that Eritrean soldiers are in Afar region of Ethiopia, and we're really worried about the safety of this and safety of our refugees, and it should be condemned. And thank you very much. That's all I have to say right now. And if I had
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Shaheem. We'll go to our brother Jonas. Everyone knows Brother Jonas. Go ahead, Brother Jonas.
Okay, thank you for setting all this up. Thank you for everybody being on the panel and to have a discussion. This is for me, I look at this as a game changer, a huge announcement when we're hearing Ethiopian Afar aligning themselves with supporting for self-determination and supporting with TDF. That's major. And also for Eritrean Afar, who recognize all the atrocities that are happening and continue to fight for not only the sovereignty of Eritrea, but also the liberation and for justice, especially for the Afar nation. So it's very important. And so I have a series of questions. Let me know when I can get into the questions. But I'm definitely in support in any struggle, any efforts towards justice, because without that, there'll be no peace. So that's going to be the game changer. So I really appreciate for everything that's being done.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. What I wanted to highlight is a lot of people are just joining. Some are leaving, coming. What is the topic? The topic is the Eritrean and Ethiopian Afar unification against the dictators, Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki. We all know the real reason for war. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for war and conflict within the Horn, but we also know how important the ASEB and the port is. We understand the key holders of this whole movement of Eritrea liberation is also that port. We understand Addis Ababa, Amhara elites, Abiy Ahmed, they're all focused on that port, but at what cost? We also understand the cost is the Afars, the Eritrean and Ethiopian Afars, right? They've been decimated. It's a lot of destruction of Afar region, but nobody ever highlights this. That's the issue. Everyone's focused on Isaias Afwerki and Abiy Ahmed, but our Muslim brothers and sisters, the Afarians in Eritrea and Ethiopia, have been suffering for years, to include their population downgrade from 600K in Eritrean Afars to 400K, as Brother Ahmed has taught me. But none of us highlight this. But this is a game changer for sure, Brother Jonas, because the Afarians, to me, are the key holders to what is going to transpire in Eritrea, minus and plus everything else that's going on. Because that port is a special interest to outside agencies, to include Arabs. When I say Arab, I mean UAE and other organizations, Tzadus, United States, Kulum, even Australia, mining companies, Canada mining companies. We know all this. But why aren't the Afars highlighted as they should be? So now the Afars have a progressive combined movement, right? Because they're soldiers as well, and they're not going to stand for this. And they're coming to tell you what the changes are and what's going to happen within the unification to remove the dictator. If we all thought in the same thought process as what's happening and transpiring here, we wouldn't have no dictators. But the issue is there's too much separations and agendas. Well, we'll see how this movement goes. I'm very supportive in this as well. I believe that Isaias Afwerki's time is up, and I also believe Abiy Ahmed's time is up. It's just a matter of how and when. Before we go to the questions, Is there Brother Ahmed, did you want to add to it before I move into the questions?
Now, forward to the question. We're ready.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. The first question is, what is Arduf and EANC stand for, and what is their primary goal? We can start with Brother Ahmed.
I will let Brother Muhammad answer for Arduf. For us,
Can you hear me, Brother?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Doctor? Captain, can you hear me? Jonas, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I think Captain is frozen.
Yep.
What EANC stands for is Eritrean Afar National Congress. As I mentioned, our organization is dedicated to fighting for the rights of self-determination for the Afar Eritreans in the Afar homelands of Dankalia. And as I mentioned, our people, the reason why we are using all our means, including forging relations with people who can assist us and people who can collaborate with us, is to get rid of the regime, the tyrannical system, Eritrean regime that has subjected our people, specifically, systematically, have inflicted ethnic cleansing, displacement, mass murder, mass graves. All of these atrocities have forced almost 200,000 Afar people from their homeland at Dankalia. The sign you see here, Dankalia is not for sale. What we mean by that is not only all of these atrocities are committed by this terrible tyrannical system since 1991, but they are selling Dankalia to, like you mentioned, people like the Australian mining giants, like digging potash, people like those United Arab Emirates who are taking our ports, killing our fishermen. Not only that, just recently they've been accused of involving themselves in Tigray genocide. So, I mean, all of this is happening in Dankalia. So it's time that the Afar people themselves rise up. And also we are urging other Eritreans and people from Tigray, Tigray leadership, Oromo leadership, anyone can help us to get rid of the tyrannical system. I mean, after all, Abiy and Isaias have made these two nations as one. As you know, the planning for genocide in Tigray is coming from Afwerki. You know, he had no business coming to Ethiopia, and that's what all the international community are saying. Get out of Ethiopia, because they know how terrible this regime is. Whatever they put their foot on, it causes fire. That's why we're saying to other brothers and sisters, join us, join the fight for the Afar people, and the sooner we get rid of the regime in Eritrea, the sooner, the better the peace and security is for all Eritreans and Ethiopians.
I got a question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Mohammed.
Mohammed can answer for Arduf.
As I told you earlier, our audience mostly listen either Afar or Amharic. So I will continue in Amharic. If you have a question, maybe concerning different area, I can answer in English, but I will continue with the Amharic at this point. አመሰግናለሁ ወንድም ለጠየቀን ጥያቄ አርዱፍ የተመሰረተው 1970ዎቹ አካባቢ ነው። በአፋር ህዝብ ላይ እየደረሰ በነበረው በተለይ በደርግ መንግስት እንግዲህ በአፋር ብቻ ሳይሆን በኤርትራም በትግራይም በሌሎች የኢትዮጵያ ክፍሎች እያደረሰ ከነበረው አሰቃቂ ጦርነትና ችግር በመነሳት የአፋር ህዝብን ለመታደግ የተቋቋመ ድርጅት ነው። ከተቋቋመበት ጊዜ ጀምሮ ለአፋር ህዝብ መብት ራሱን በራሱ የማስተዳደር መብት የራሱን አካባቢውን በራሱ ሀገር በሰላም የመኖር በቋንቋው የመናገር እንዲችል የተቋቋመና የታገለ ድርጅት ነው። እንደምታውቁት በዛም ወቅት በኃይለ ሥላሴም በደርግ ጊዜ የአፋር ህዝብ በኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ በተለያየ ክፍለ ሀገር ተከፋፍሎ በ5 ክፍለ ሀገር ተከፋፍሎ ተሰጥቶ የነበረና የራሱ ቋንቋ የማይጠቀም በራሱ ልጆች የማይተዳደር ስለነበረ ይህንን ለመታገል የተቋቋመ ድርጅት ነው። እንግዲህ ትግሉ የጠየቀውን መስዋዕት ሁሉ ከፍለዋል። የአፋር ህዝብ ያውቀዋል። ከዛ በመቀጠል ኢህአዴግ ደርግ በወደቀበት ጊዜ ደግሞ የነበረውን ራስን በራስ የማስተዳደር ጥያቄ ከተመጣው አዲስ መንግስት ጋር ተደራድሮ የአፋር ክልል በአሁኑ ሰዓት ባለው ሸርጥ እንዲዋቀር የአፋር ህዝብ በራሱ ቋንቋ እንዲማር በራሱ ቋንቋ እንዲዳኝ ባቀረበው ጥያቄ ከነበረው መንግስት ጋር ተደራድረን ይህንን ሁኔታ በከፊልም ቢሆን በተግባር ላይ ውሎ ነበረ። ከዛ በኋላ ኢህአዴግ መንግስትንም ተዋግተናል። ለምን በወረቀት ላይ የሰፈረውን የመተዳደሪያ ደንብ ወይም ህገ መንግስት የሚባለውን ሙሉ በሙሉ በተግባር ስላልዋለ መዋል አለበት በሚል ከኢህአዴግ መንግስት ጋርም ተዋግተናል። ግን አሁን በተለይ ከ3 ዓመት በፊት የመጣውን የአብይ አስተዳደር የበለጠ ኮንስቲቱሽኑን ተግባር ላይ ለማዋል ቀርቶ ይህንን ኮንስቲቱሽንን አጥፍቶ የክልላዊ አስተዳደር ህዝቦች በራሳቸው ቋንቋ፣ ባህል፣ ታሪክ እንዳይጠቀሙ ይህንን የነበረውን ሙሉ በሙሉ ባይሆንም በከፊል ስራ ላይ የነበረውን የክልላዊ መንግስታትና አስተዳደር በማጥፋት ድሮ ወደ ነበርንበት ጨለማ አህዳዊ ስርዓት ለመመለስ የራሳቸውን ስልጣን ቅድም እንዳልኩት በአስመራም ሆነ በአዲስ አበባ ስልጣናቸውን ለማራዘም ብቸኛው መንገድ አህዳዊነት ስለሆነ ይሄ አህዳዊነት ለማስከተል ከዚህ ተቀራኒ የሆነውን በሙሉ ማጥፋት አለብን ከሚል የተነሳ ስለሆነ ከድሮም የበለጠ እየታገልናቸው አሁንም ጥምረት ያስፈልገውና አንድ ላይ መስራት ያስፈልገው ከኤንሲ ጋር እዛም እዚህም ጠላቶቻችን አንድ ስለሆኑ ጠላትን አንድ ላይ ሆነን መመከት ስላለብን አሁን የበለጠ ትግል እንድናካሄድ ተገደናል። አመሰግናለሁ።
Thank you. Captain, do you want me to go to the next question if you're there? Okay. When he comes back on. Okay, so I'm going to ask next question. Ahmed, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my next question is, now that EANC and ARDUF are making this announcement, who are additional allies to the cause right now, and what's the political capacity and military capacity?
Very good. The allies are whoever wants to fight for the rights and respect their rights and respecting specifically I'm talking to Eritreans is to have this 30 years of misery to be gone as soon as possible. So whoever is willing, the Eritrean solution of course is going to come from Eritrean led opposition, and we are just a single part of that, and whoever is coming to assist us removing this tyrannical system in Eritrea is our partner. So it's wide open for anyone to join. So we are just fed up of waiting for anyone, and we are taking the first step, and we are hopeful that many others can join us. I mean, you've seen Brother Haile Mariam here. His organization is almost on board, and other Eritreans have already are working with Tigray TDF and others, mobilizing their resources. I mean, the Eritreans are fed up, and there is going to be a bigger umbrella alliance. It's not just Afar and Afar here. It's going to grow. So it's open for anyone to join.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there was civilians that were killed in Afar. And then if anybody can answer this, when the civilians were killed, one group says this group did it, one group says this group did it. And from my understanding, the electricity is out and is controlled by the government of Ethiopia. So my question is, can you provide elaborate more insight on that atrocity that happened?
Yes, Mohammed is more appropriate to answer that question. You're talking about massacre in Galikoma, right?
Yes. Yep. The massacre in Galikoma in Afar region in Ethiopia.
Yes. Mohammed, go ahead.
አሁንም በአማርኛ ነው የምቀጥለው። ጋሊኮማ ላይ ይሰማችኋል? አሁን ጋሊኮማ ላይ የተፈጠረው ሁኔታ መጀመሪያ ከጋሊኮማ በፊት እንዴት ያ ጦርነት ተነሳ የሚለውን ትንሽ ላብራራና ያለው በሚባል አካባቢ የኢትዮጵያ መንግስት ማዕከላዊ መንግስት ሰራዊትና የኦሮሚያ ልዩ ኃይል በጣም ብዛት ያለው ከ160 ሺህ በላይ የሆነ ያለው በሚባል አካባቢ አርጎ ወደ ትግራይ ለማስወጣት ነበረ ፕላኑ። ያለው ጨርጨር መኮን የሚባሉ የትግራይ ክልል አካባቢ በጣም ቅርብ ስለሆነ በዛው ማጨው ለመያዝ ነበር ዋናው ይሄን ኃይል የተንቀሳቀሰውና ሲዲኤፍ ይሄንን ኢንፎርሜሽን መረጃ ስለነበረው እዛ ከመውጣታቸው በፊት በነበሩበት በአፋር ያለው ከተማ ጦርነት ከፈተባቸውና ጦርነቱ በተከፈተበት ጊዜ ሸሽተው ያ ሁሉ ሰራዊት ሸሽተው ወደ ሳውዝ ማለት ወደ ደቡብ ሸሸ። ከዛ በኋላ የትግራይ ኃይሎች ተከታትለው እንዳያችሁ በዜናዎች አውራ ኡዋ ጎሊና የተባለ እስከ ጭፍራ አካባቢ ከኋላ ኋላ እያሯሯጧቸው እዛ አካባቢ ሲደርሱ ከኢትዮጵያ በኩል ሌላ ኃይል ተጨምሮላቸው ጋሊኮማ በሚባል አካባቢ በጣም ኃይለኛ ውጊያ ተካሂዶ የኢትዮጵያ ሰራዊት በጦርነቱ በጣም ስለተጎዳ የአየር ኃይል አውሮፕላን መጥቶ እንዲያግዛቸው በመጠየቃቸው አውሮፕላኑ የቲዲኤፍን አካባቢ እንመታለን በማለት በስህተት ይሁን አውቆም ይሁን የአፋር ተፈናቃዮች የነበሩበት ትምህርት ቤትና ጤና ጣቢያ ላይ ትላልቅ ቦምቦች በመጣል ነው ያ ሁሉ የአፋር ወጣት ህፃን ሴቶች አረጋውያን ያለቁበትና ይሄ ከዜና አውታሮች ሳይሆን እዛው ከነበሩበት ከቆሰሉ ሰዎች ያገኘናቸው ትክክለኛ መሬት ላይ ያለው መረጃ ነው። በጣም ብዙ የሆኑ የውጭም ይሁን የውስጥን የዜና አውታሮች ቲዲኤፍ እንደገደለ ነው የዘገበው። ያው የመንግስት ዜና ወኪሎች የሚሰጧቸው ናቸው ኢንክሉዲንግ የውጭ ሚዲያዎች። ስለዚህ ያለው ሀቅ ይሄ ነው። ይሄ ህዝብ ያለቀው በአውሮፕላን ነው። ቲዲኤፍ እንደምናውቀው አውሮፕላን የለውም እና በዚህ ላይ ያቁማሉ።
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Is that Teddy?
I have Teddy has some questions.
እሺ በጣም ያመስግን።
Yeah, hold on.
ተጨማሪ መሐመድ ጋር ተጨማሪ ካርዶፍ ነው አይደለም ይባላል። ትንሽ ላብራራው ከመሐመድ ያለው ትንሽ ስፋት ያለ ላብራራላችሁ ጉዳዩ
Jonas, he's adding to what Mohammed had to say. This is Mohammed's colleague from R2.
Member of our group.
Okay, I understand. Go ahead.
Tatrus? Yeah, man.
Hi, Daria. Hi, Daria. Is there any technical problem maybe? Haidar.
Okay, as soon as he comes back on,
Yeah,
let's continue with him. But I think Teddy had a question, and then Teddy, if you can translate a little bit what we just heard as well. Go ahead, Teddy.
ماشي بطعم يمسجن سمعن لهم
Okay, I think Teddy is
Can you hear me?
Teddy, is your mic working?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yes.
Captain, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
سمعن لهم
Teddy had written a note. Maybe you should go to him.
Let me see. Yeah, I don't see the question though. He just says I had a couple questions to ask. All right, I can go to.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Mohammed, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So here's the big question. This is a big question because a lot of people talk about it, and for some reason, everybody skips Afar. So, for example, with Tigray, they talk about Abai Tigray, and they skip Afar people. With Ethiopia, they talk about one Ethiopia. Again, they talk about Asad. They skip Afar people. With Eritrea, they talk about Asad. Again, they're displacing Afar people. So the common component is Afar people because constantly being oppressed, this and that. That's a fact. It's already happened, and it's already happening. So from an Eritrean Afar perspective, what do you say about that? And also for Ethiopian Afar, what do you say about that? Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. Your question is very timely and very important question. As you mentioned, we hear this question a lot, but we're going to break it down into two questions. Number one is the question of Eritrea sovereignty. This is coming not only from threat from Ethiopians like the Amhara expansionists, but also from the Eritrean compatriots. And very important to highlight that the Afar in Eritrea are part and parcel of Eritrea. We are the key ingredient that made Eritrea. We have fought prior to Eritrea was known in this region. The Afar fought without Eritrea's name to fight against all of the colonial invasions. You name it, the French, the Italians, the whoever, there are so many battles that the Afar have sacrificed more than anyone in their land that is called Eritrea right now. So the question of sovereignty is Eritrea sovereignty is very dear to us. We don't play with that. We want Eritrea to be united, but what we want more than anyone, just like anyone, is that Eritrea to be fair, Eritrea to respect the rights of everyone, including the Afar rights to self-government, the Afar rights to autonomy, the Afar rights to self-determination, the Afar rights to own their land and resources. I mean, this is a basic right for every country and every human being. So by saying that, there is sometimes misunderstanding coming from our Eritrean brothers. So we want to make it clear again and again that the Afar in Eritrea are pro-Eritrea, defends the Eritrean sovereignty and integrity and the territory more than anyone. So we are not going to compromise on that. But what we're saying simply is that for Eritrea, to be a democratic nation, the Afar's right to self-determination, as we just spoke, need to be constitutionally implemented. That the Afar way of life, the Afar economy, the Afar ports, the Afar resources need to first and foremost address the needs of the Afar people. Then we can share those two with Eritreans and anyone else. So that is as far as the Eritrean sovereignty. The second part is that yes, we're hearing a lot of noises coming from the Ethiopian sides, on the question of Asab. Who is Asab belongs to? And most recently, there was a report on Ethiopia's intention to bring Ethiopian Navy in the Afar territory, in Eritrean territory. I mean, we reject that. And we also reject the notion that this land do not belong to anyone. That's what Eritrean Afwerki is saying. He's selling it left and right. And those who are extremist Amaras with their ideologies of centralist government. And by the way, this is what we're fighting in Eritrea. This excessively centralized, racist, that discriminates against religious or ethnic and other components of Eritrea. So we do not want to see this union to go forward. I mean, it is very dangerous for Afar in Eritrea and other nationality. This is what Tigrayans and the Oromos and others are fighting against. They don't want to go back to this Mililik time kind of like oppressive centralist model of governance. This is why Ethiopia have this constitutional model that respects the rights of each nations and nationality. So to come back to the issue of ASAP, the ASAP has been on the nose of Ethiopians more than anyone. Ethiopian, especially when I mean the Amharas. The Amharas, because of the experience they had during the Derg, they want to claim ASAP, but that is not going to happen until the Afar, like us, who are fighting for the rights of the Afar and the sovereignty of Eritrea and the self-determination of Afar. By the way, we are not opposed having socio-economic development partnership with Ethiopian. This is not the point. The point is that for these rights to be guaranteed, for Ethiopians to use the port of ASAP, first and foremost, the Afar people needs to be the grievances completely need to be addressed, not just by nice talk, but constitutionally guaranteed inside Eritrea. As well as the Ethiopians need to respect the sovereignty of Eritreans so that they are allowed to use these resources. And by the way, to the people of Tigray, we share your pain. We understand the embargo that's on the people of Tigray. If the Afar people, if the ENC were to be the governing, or the Afar self-determination were to be guaranteed, we want to make sure the people of Tigray are not put in this position by those who want to ethnically destroy them. So we are with you. We support your causes. This goes beyond the Tigrayan people to all Ethiopians, that we want Ethiopia to do well. But the problem is, you cannot do that by force. You need to recognize people's rights to the land, to their governance, to the sea, to their port. All of these belongs to the Afar people, and their rights need to be respected.
Thank you, Ahmed. I appreciate that. Now, I think Teddy's, he can ask the question now. Teddy, is your mic working?
Yes, I think so. Can you hear me now?
Unmute your mic if it's working.
Is it okay now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Okay. I can go into the next question if it's not working.
Can you hear me?
I think you had a question for Mohammed.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I think it's by your side. Sometimes I cannot control it. Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I have a couple questions for Mr. Ahmed and Mr. Mohammed. And Mr. Ahmed, do you have or have you initiated any relationship with the government of Tigray? Or do you already have? And my second question to you is, do you have any military force in the ground? The second question, I have a question to Mr. Mohammed. የአፋር አብዮታዊ ዲሞክራሲያዊ ግንባር ማለት ነው እና ከትግራይ መንግስት ወይም ከቲዲኤፍ እየተነጋገራችሁ መሆናችሁ ጠቅሰዋልና የተስማማችሁ ጉዳዮች ካሉ በምን ነው እየተነጋገራችሁ ያላችሁት? ደግሞ የተነጋገራችሁ ካላችሁ በምን የተስማማችሁ ነገር ጉዳዮች ካሉ ቢጠቅሱልኝ ጥሩ ነው። ከዛ ቀጥሎ ደግሞ የታጠቁ ቡድን በመሬት ካላችሁ ደግሞ ብናውቅ ጥሩ ነበር። አመሰግናለሁ።
Ahmad.
Okay. If I should I answer the first two questions?
Yes.
Okay. So if the first question is what type of relations are you or do you have any relations with the Tigrayan leadership? The answer is yes. We are working closely. We are watching closely. Our partnership, like I said, is from the Eritrean component. Whatever happens in Eritrea, if Eritrean regime is involved, we are with TDF. We know what Eritrean regime has done to the people of Tigray, not to the government of Tigray, but to the people of Tigray. So as a people to people, we share their pain and we want to work with them. And we have initiated this discussion to work closely and to get rid of, like I said, the tyrannical system that is oppressing them and oppressing us. The second component of your question, I'm not in privy to answer that at this moment. But we are working to have a strong Afar force to deal with the Eritrean regime, not politically but also militarily. So I leave it at that.
Thank you.
አመሰግናለሁ ወንድም ለጥያቄው። አንደኛ ወንድም አህመድ መልሰዋል። ትንሽ ከትግራይ መንግስትና ከትግራይ ጦር ኃይሎች ጋራ በሚገባ እየተነጋገርን ኤቭሪዴይ እንግዲህ በየቀኑ እየተነጋገር ያለውን ሁኔታዎች እየገመገምን አብረን እየሄድን ነው ያለነው። ብዙ ነገሮች ላይ ተነጋግረናል። ብዙ ነገሮች ላይ ተስማምተናል። ያስማማን ጉዳይ ቅድም እንዳልኩት እነዚህ ኃይሎች ድሮ የተዋጋንና አሸንፈናቸው የነበርነው የአህዳውያን ኃይሎች ተመልሰው እንዳይመጡ በጋራ ለመታገልና እነዚህ አብይና ኢሳያስ እና እነሱን የሚከተሉትን ለመዋጋት ተስማምተናል። ከዛ ቢዮንድ ያለው የትግራይ ህዝብ ወንድም ህዝብ ነው። በትግራይ ህዝብ ላይ የደረሰውን ግፍ በዓለም ተሰምቶ የማይታወቅ ነው። ይሄንን እንደ ጎረቤት እንደ አፋር ሳይሆን እንደ ሰው በመሆናችን ብቻ የምንቃወመው ነው። ከነሱ ጋር አብረው የሚያቆመን ራሱ ይሄ ነው። ከዛ ውጭ እንግዲህ አሁን እዚህ የሚያስፈልግ አይመስለኝም። የተፈራረምነው የተስማማንባቸው ብዙ ነገሮች አሉ ከትግራይ መንግስትና ከትግራይ ተዋጊ ኃይሎች። ሁለተኛ ጥያቄ ሰራዊት የታጠቀ ሜዳ ላይ ያላችሁ ወይ ለሚለው ጥያቄ ኦፍ ኮርስ የስ የኛ ኃይል በፊት ከደርግም ጀምሮ ኢህአዴግ በከፊሉ የሻዕቢያ መንግስት ደግሞ አሁን ብቻ ሳይሆን በፊት በአፋር አካባቢ በተለይ በሰሜናዊ የአፋር አካባቢ በኢትዮጵያ ቦርደር እየገባ ያስቸግር በነበረበት ጊዜም ከነሱ ጋር ተዋግተናል እና አለን የታጠቀ ኃይለኛ ህዝባዊ መሰረት ያለው ጉጉሞ በሚል የሚታወቅ ሰራዊታችን የአርዱፍ ሰራዊት ነው። ጉጉሞ እንግዲህ ኢንፎርሜሽን ለሌላችሁ ጉጉሞ ማለት የሰራዊት ስም ሲሆን አርዱፍ ማለት የፖለቲካ ድርጅት ስም ነውና ጉጉሞ በመሬት በህዝቡ መሃል በየቦታ እየታገለ ያለ ታጣቂ ኃይል ነው አለን ለማለት።
Thank you.
Teddy, was that good for your questions?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Captain, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, brother. Yeah, these are all great questions, brother Jonas. The only thing is not to throw a wrench in the system, but brother Ahmed and brother Mohammed, the question is, there's a lot of people have their views and political strategies and how they view things, right? You got you got religious aspect, you got different countries, you know. Only issue is if the Afarian groups are united as one, Eritrean and Ethiopian Afars, how does that cause an issue for you know, you have people who are against TPLF, against the TDF that are in Eritrea. Does that affect your movement in any way? Does that affect how you want the Afarian movement to work together to defeat both dictators?
Okay. You raise a very important question because there's a lot of confusion, as you said, amongst the people and amongst others. So what I mean, people from Ethiopia and Eritrea, I mean. So what we want to make clear is that the reason we are not fighting under one name is because of this question. We represent the Afar, specifically respecting the sovereignty and border of Eritrea. The Gugumos doing their respective work in the confines of Ethiopia. So, but that does not prevent us from working together. Given the current situation, we mentioned both dictators being the problem for the Afar people in both countries. So what we can do is a lot. Like I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, in the 70s, the Afar, the Eritrean Liberation Front, the ELF, was working hand in hand with the Ugugumo at its infancy to help them logistically, militarily, to work together between the two Afars. At one point, they were fighting Tigray. They were not called Tigray Defense Force back then, but you know, Tigray Liberation Front. And they because of the Afar situation, the Afar from Eritrea were working hand in hand with the Afar from Ethiopia. So so nothing prevents us from, as Afar people who share border, who share culture, who share so many things, who share blood. There is no one closer to Afar with the Afar. There's no. This is a border that has been imposed on us. So we understand the sensitivity in two countries, but at the same time, the danger is far greater than this type of concerns, because we respect the sovereignty and the territory of each country. You know, so this is what we say. I leave it at that and let Mohammed follow up on that.
አመሰግናለሁ። ቅድምም የተነሳ ጥያቄ ትንሽ ሊጨምርበት በዛው ላይ ታላቁ አፋር ታላቁ ትግራይ ወደሚባለው ትንሽ ሊመልሳችሁና ከኮሎኒ በፊት ሁላችን እንደምናውቀው ሁሉም ህዝቦች የራሱ የሆነ አስተዳደር የራሱ የሆነ ባህላዊ ሁኔታዎች በአንድ የሚኖሩ የነበሩ ስለነበረ ኮሎኒ መጥቶ ነው አሁን እንግዲህ ያው ኤርትራ ኢትዮጵያ ጅቡቲ የምንለውና አሁን የመጣው ጥያቄዎች የሚመጣውና ታላቁ ትግራይ የሚሆን ታላቁ አፋር ሌሎችም ህዝቦች ድሮ እንደነበሩ በአንድ ላይ የመኖር ፍላጎት በሁሉም ቦታ አለ። ግን ህጋዊነት ያስፈልጋል። ወደንም ጠላንም በኃይል ተከፋፍለናል። በተለያየ ሀገር እየኖርን ነው። ያንንም ጠብቀን እየሄድን ነው። የኔ ጥያቄ ምንድነው? ፍላጎት አለ። ፍላጎት ብቻ ግን ምንም የሚሰራው መሬት ላይ ምንድነው ነው? አሁን ለምሳሌ የአፋር ህዝብ በኤርትራም በጅቡቲም በኢትዮጵያም ያለ ህዝብ አንድ ላይ መኖር ይፈልጋለሁ ብሎ ዲሞክራሲ ካለ ይሄ ሁሉ ይፈታል። አይ እኛ በኤርትራ ውስጥ ያለነው የአፋር ህብረተሰብ በአሁኑ ሰዓት እንግዲህ ወደድንም ጠላንም በዚህ ክፍል እየተዳደር ነው ለረጅም ጊዜና ከወንድም ተቀረው ኤርትራ ህዝብ ጋር መኖር እንፈልጋለን። አይ አይደለም ከአፋር ጋር ተቀላቅለን ከአፋር ጋር መኖር እንፈልጋለን የሚል ጥያቄ የሚመጣው ዲሞክራሲ ካለ ነው። ዲሞክራሲ ካለ የሁሉ ችግር አይመጣም፣ የሁሉ ጥያቄዎችም አይመጣም። ምክንያቱም በዲሞክራሲ ህዝቦች የሚፈልጉትን ነገር የሚመርጡበትን አስተዳደር ይመጣል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ያ እንዲመጣ እኛ ማድረግ ያለብን ይሄን ዲሞክራሲ ስርዓት እንዳይመሰረት ህዝቦች በፍላጎታቸው የሚፈልጉትን መምረጥ የማይችሉበት ሁኔታ እንዳይፈጠር እንቅፋት የሆኑ የራሳቸውን ስልጣን ብቻ ለማራዘም የሚሰሩ አህዳውያን እና አስተዳደሮች ለማጥፋት ተባብረን ያ የምንፈልገውን ዲሞክራሲያዊ ስርዓት አምጥተን ከዛ በኋላ በህዝቦች አሁን አለ የሚባለው ጥያቄዎች በብዙ መልክ ከኤርትራ ወንድሞቻችን በኩል ነው የሚመጣው የሚሰማው። የአፋር ህዝብ ከኤርትራ ጋር መኖር አይፈልግም፣ ታላቁ አፋር መሰረት ይፈልጋል፣ አፋር ትሪያንግል ምናምን የሚባለው ነገር በብዛት ከተለያየ ከኤርትራ ወንድሞቻችን ዘንድ ነው የሚሰማው። ይሄ ግን መሬት ላይ ያለ ነገር ለጊዜው አይደለም፣ የሚታሰብም አይደለም። እነዚህ ዲክቴተሮቹን አጥፍተን ዲሞክራሲያዊ ስርዓትን አስፍነን ከዛ በኋላ ህዝቦች ጥያቄ ካላቸው ህጋዊና በሰለጠነ መልክ መጠየቅ ይችላሉ። የህዝብ ድምጽ እንግዲህ የሚሰማ መንግስታት በሚኖሩበት ጊዜ በድምጽና በሪፈረንደም ሊፈታ የሚችል ይሆናል እና ይሄን ነው ማለት የምፈልገው።
Thank you, sir. Jonas, I got a question for you. I know we during this press conference, you have to understand with the work that we're doing here, there's a little bit of I don't know where it's coming from. So with the work that we're doing here, you guys have to understand, like Brother Ahmed said, this is a very critical time. Also, it's very, very sensitive. The issue is the Eritrean population, some are still stuck on that TPLF talk from the past, right? I understand. But the new change, the new transition is all Hizb Tigray has become TDF. From young to old to everything, right? They're not, the names are just the names. I understand the conflict in the past with with TPLF and ELF and EPLF, I understand. But now that Hizb Tigray is under one banner, one umbrella as Tigray Defense Force to fight all dictators invading their countries, under what umbrella would you be working under the Afar nations? What umbrella would they be working under? If they unified, who would lead them? What banner would they be working under? And how do you propose to explain that to Eritrea and Tigray? They have to be able to accept this unification. Whether the people like it or not, the Afars can unite regardless of what anybody says. I understand that. But just to get the support in the ground movement and logistics and Kulu, everything. How do you propose to give this message to Hizb Eritrea and Ethiopia? And is it already solidified that TDF will support your movement against both dictators? Obviously, it's a win-win for TDF if the Afar regions unite, whether the Eritrean Ethiopians to fight Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki. I'll go with Brother Shaheem.
Yes, thank you very much, Captain. Afar, actually, basically we're the same people, and people consider us such. And I'm going to start by saying, like, the last thing that happened, there was like a Somali and Afar war in Ethiopia, and in Djibouti, when Somalis when they got defeated in Ethiopia, they took their revenge on innocent civilians in Djibouti with the help of the regime and the police force, the Djibouti police force. So basically we're saying is, as Afars, we are united, we have the same culture, we have the same people, and whatever whatever happens to the people, Afar people in Djibouti, we feel it. And whatever happens to Afar in Ethiopia, original Afars feel it. And they're ready to support them with any way they can, as well as us being Eritreans. At the same time, we have like family members and refugees and Afars in Ethiopia. They help us a lot, and they help the Afar, Eritrean Afars a lot. And the same, I can say the same thing about the Djibouti Afars as well, just for being Afar. And the thing is, because like Brother Muhammad says, if we live in a democratic system, people can decide what they want to do and what measures to take, right? And that's why we have the same aspiration like everybody else. Like, we've been left behind by successive governments with regards to investments and infrastructure or medical care or you name it, anything. And the only thing they want is our resources, whether it's in the Eritrea or Ethiopia or anywhere. We want the port. We don't care about the people who live there, or they will just sell your land without telling you or anything like that. So we have the same aspiration for peace and to prosper like everybody else in this world. And then we're going to fight for that. And we're all going to fight together. When we, as Eritreans, we're going to fight the dictatorship, and our Ethiopian brothers, they're going to fight their own dictatorship as well. And whoever, like Muhammad said, what they call Ahadawi Mengisti in Ethiopia, which want to take the right of nationalism and nationalities and bring back the old feudal system back to Ethiopia. And that's not going to work because we are in the 21st century right now, and that's not going to work. So I think as Eritreans and as Afars and as Ethiopians and everybody, we should fight the dictatorship, make sure that the dictatorship doesn't get life, and then we should fight to bring democracy to our region. And thank you for the opportunity, and Brother Ahmed can add to that.
Before we go to Brother Ahmed, can we go to, I see Brother Haydara Idris. If he wants to shed some more light on that, Brother Idris, go ahead.
Hello. Hello. ሰላም እንደምን አማችሁ የተከታተላችሁ ነው። በጣም ጥሩ ነው እየሰማሁት ነው። ግን አንዳንድ ነገሮች መጀመሪያ መብራራት ያስፈልጉት ነው። አቶ መሐመድ የተናገሩት በአፋር ዞን 4 አካባቢ ያጋጠሙ ችግር ነበረ። በዞን 4 መጀመሪያ ጦርነት በትግራይ እና በአፋር መካከል ሳይሆን የተጀመረው በመከላከያና በትግራይ ሰራዊት ጋር ነው። በትግራይ ሰራዊት መጋለ እንደቆጣጠረ በኋላ ይሄን ነገር እንዳይፈጸም በዛን ሰዓት ሀገር ሽማግሌዎች አቶ መሐመድ ያልተከሱ ሀገር ሽማግሌዎች ያደረጉት ጥረት ነበረ። እሱን ጥረት ምንድነው? ትግራይ ሰራዊት እዚያ አካባቢ የኦሮሞ ልዩ ኃይልና የተለያዩ ክልሎች የመጡ ልዩ ኃይል መግባቱን ሲመጣ እነዚህ ልዩ ኃይሎች አስቆሙና መጀመሪያ እኛ ረግጣችሁ ታልፋላችሁ፣ ካልሆነ ግን በትግራይ በእኛ አድርጋችሁ ጥቃት አታደርሱ። በዛን ሰዓት እናንተ ልዩ ኃይል ናቸው። ልዩ ኃይሉ በህገ መንግስት በኢትዮጵያ ህገ መንግስት ላይ ብናየው ከአንድ ክልል ልዩ ኃይል ወደ ክልል መግባት ጸጥታ እንዲጸጥታ አካል ወደ ክልል ሌላ ክልል መግባት አይፈቀድም። ፌደራል መንግስት እንደፈለገ ያደርጋል። መጀመሪያ ፌደራል መንግስት ገብቶ ነበር ጦርነት የመጀመሪያ ጊዜ። አሁንም በዛን ሰዓት ሲከለከሉት ኦኬ ተመለሱ፣ እናንተ እንዲመለሱ ሲያደርጋቸው እነሱ ባሉበት ተመለሱና እነሱ ወደ ሽማግሌዎች ወደ ትግራይ ሰራዊት ጋር ለማነጋገር ሂዶ ሲነጋገሩበት ያለበት ሰዓት ነው ጥቃት የፈጸመው ደግሞ በክልል ርዕሰ መስተዳደር የታዘዘ ሌላ አካል እነሱ ባሉበት ሰዓት እነሱ በሽምግልና ያለበት ሰዓት ነው ውጊያው የተጀመረው። በዛን ሰዓት ትግራይ ሰራዊት የአፋር ህዝብ መሬት ለማውረድ ወይም የአፋር ህዝብ ላይ ጉዳት ማድረስ የሚፈልጉ እነዚህ ሽማግሌዎች በዛን ሰዓት ባሉበት ሽማግሌዎች ነበሩ። ሽማግሌዎች ብቻ ሳይሆን የልዩ ኃይሎች አባላት ነበሩ። የአፋር ልዩ ኃይል አባላት በቦታው እነሱ ላይ ጥቃት ሊያደርሱ ነበር። በዛን ሰዓት ኦኬ እኛ ራሳችን መከላከል ስለምንፈልግ ፊታችን እንድትለቁ ምናምን ብሎ በዛን ሰዓት ነው የተለቀቀው። ይሄ ነበር ጉዳይ። በጋሊኮማ ላይ የተፈጸመው ነገር ወደ መመለሰው ያቆች ዳግም እንደመለሰላቸው እንደሆናችሁ ጋሊኮማ ላይ የተፈጸመው መንግስት ሆን ብሎ ነው እርዳታ የሚከፋፈልበት ቦታ ላይ ህዝብ ሰብስቦ ሆን ብሎ የፈጸመው የትግራይ ሰራዊት እንደፈጸመና አንድ የቀራው ነበረ በትግራይ ድንበር ላይ የሚኖረው አፋር ህዝብ ነው። አፋር ህዝብ የቀራው አማራ ለምንድን ነው ብቻ የሚሞተው? አማራ ብቻ አማራ የተባለ የሚጠራው ለዚህ አፋር ወደ ጦርነት ማስገባት አለን ብሎን ያቀደው ፕሮፓጋንዳ ፊልም አዘጋጅቶ ይሄን ፊልም ምን ማድረግ አለበት ሰው ህይወት ማለፍ አለበት ብሎ የሰው ህይወት እንዲያልፍ ያደረገው የአብይ መንግስት ነው። የሚያደርጉት ደግሞ የአፋር ህዝብ በዚህ በሻዕቢያ በዚህም በአሁን ባለበት በኤርትራ ውስጥ ያለው አፋር ላይ የሚያጋጥመው በሻዕቢያና በዘር መጥፋት እዚህ ጋር ደግሞ ተሳታፊ እንዲሆኑና በጉዳዩ ላይ አፋር ህዝብ ሁሉና እንዲጠፋ አፋር ህዝብ ጦርነት ትግራይ ህዝብ ጋር አልጀመረም። ትግራይ ህዝብና አፋር ህዝብ ከድሮም አብረን የታገለ ሰዎች ነን፣ አብረን ያሉ ሰዎች ናቸው። የትም ሰዓትም በአሁን ሰዓት ብቻ አንድ ዞን አካባቢ ነው። አሁን ባለፈው ያልሆነ ቦታ ተጀምረዋል በበራህላ አካባቢ። ከዛ በፊት ትግራይ በስልጣን በነበረበት ሰዓት አፋር ሚለቱም አልፈለገም። ድንበሩን በትግራይ ክልልና በአፋር ትልቅ የታወቀ ድንበር አለ፣ የታወቀ አለ። የሚመጣው ነገር ካለ በህዝብና በሀገር ሽማግሌዎች የሚፈታ ነገር ነው። አሁንም እንደ አርዶፍ የምንንቀሳቀስበት እኛም በመሬት ላይ ያለው ቢሆንም በውጭም ምንድነው ትግራይ ህዝብና የአፋር ህዝብ ጦርነት ውስጥ የደረሰበት ያለው ጉዳይ እንዳለ ይቆምና ጉዳዩን በተሻለ መጠን ህዝቡን የአብይ ተልዕኮ እነሱ ያሰቡበት ፕሮፓጋንዳ ትልቅ ዓላማ የአፋር ህዝብ ጭንቅላት የገቡ በአሁን ሰዓት ያለው ችግር ምን ላይ ነው? የትግራይ ሰራዊት አፋር መሬት እንደወረደና አፋር እንደገደለ ነው። ግን ሁኔታው ልይት ከዛው የተለያየ ነገር ነው። አፋር ህዝብ አልተወረነም። አባላ ስንት ኪሎ ሜትር ነው? ከመቀለ ብናየው 27 ኪሎ ሜትር ርቀት ላይ ነው። ሌላም አካባቢ ከትግራይ መሬት 28 ኪሎ ሜትር ነው። በምን አስፈለገ? እነሱ የሄዱበት ወደ ራይ የመጡበት ራሳቸውን ለመከላከል የተወሰነው ነው። አሁን ግን እነሱ የሚያደርጉት ምንድነው? ኦኬ አንድ መንገድ ተከፍተዋል። ይሄን መንገዱን ሁለት ጥላቻ በአማራና በአፋር በኩል ሁለቱም ያ በህዝቡን እንዲማለቅ ህዝቡን እንዲያልቅ ማድረግ ያለው እቅድ ነው ለማለት እንፈልጋለሁ። ሁኔታው እንደዚህ ነበር የተጀመረበት በመከላከያ ሰራዊት በፌደራል መንግስት በዛን ሰዓት የኦሮሞ ልዩ ኃይል ጦርነት ሲጀምር ጦርነት ከፍቶ አንድ ደቂቃ ወይም አንድ ሰዓት የሚያክል አልቆይም። አካባቢውን ለቆ ወጡ። ለምን ትሄዳላችሁ? አይ የአፋር ህዝብ ስለተከለከለን ከሀገር ሽማግሌ ስለተከለከለን መመለስ አለብን ተብሎ ነው። ለምን ጀመሩ ጦርነት? ዋናው እስካሁን ድረስ መልስ ያልተገኘበት ጉዳይ ይሄ ነው። ጦርነት ጀምሮ ነው እነሱ የተውት። ግን ከአፋር ህዝብ ጋር ከዛ በኋላ ያው ሰው የሞተበት ሰዓት ሰው ራሱ በሌላም በኩል በክልሉ ያለው ያስባቸው ዓላማ ለማሰካተት ያቀደው ቡድንም በክልል ላይ የተቀመጠው ይሄ ነበር ዓላማቸው አሁን ተሳክቶላቸዋል። በተለያዩ መንገዶች በተለያዩ ነገሮች የሚያደርጉት አለ። ለዚህ ነው በሌላው አፋር ትልቅ አፋርና ትልቅ ትግራይ የሚለው ነገር አቶ መሐመድ እንዳለ ህዝብም ወስነው የአፋር ህዝብ በአሁን ሰዓት አይደለም ድንበርን ጠብቀን ኤርትራ ውስጥ ያለው በኤርትራዊነታቸው አምኖ በኤርትራ ትግል ተሳትፎ የነበሩ ሰዎች ናቸው። አሁንም ሰዓትም የትም ቢሆንም በፖለቲካም በሌላም ኤርትራዊነታቸው በዳር ድንበር ተጠብቆ ነው። ጅቡቲ ላይ ያለው ደግሞ እንደ ጅቡቲያውያን በመሆናቸው በጅቡቲ ዳር ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ያለው እንደዚህ ነው። እኛ የትም ሰዓት ስለ አፋር ታላቅ አፋር ለመመስረት ዲሞክራሲ አህመድ እንደካለ ዲሞክራሲ ካለ ዩኒየን አውሮፓ አንድ ሆናለች። የፈለገበት ሰዓትም የፈለገበት ቦታ ይገባሉ። የፈለገበት እንትና ማድረግ ይችላሉ። ጉዳዩን ህዝብ ዲሞክራሲ ካለ ሰላም ካለ ፍላጎት ካለ ድንበር ሰው ያስቀመጠ ነው እንጂ ፈጣሪ ወይም አላህ ያስቀመጠበት ነገር አይደለም። ሰው ያስቀመጠ ድንበር ነው። የአፋር ህዝብ ከሌላ ህዝቦች ጋር የማይኖርበት ነገር የለም። በኢትዮጵያ ያሉ በኢትዮጵያነትም ኮርቶ የሚኖሩ ሰዎች ናቸው። በኤርትራ ያሉም እንደዚህ ነው። በጅቡቲ ያሉም እንደዚህ ነው። ይሄ ነው ትግራይ እንደዚህ ፍላጎት ይኖረዋል። ግን ይሳካል አይሳካም ይሄ የህዝቡ ውሳኔ ነው። ማንኛው ሰዓት አሁን ሰዓትኛ ያለን ምንድነው ዘር መጥፋት በአፋር ህዝብ ላይ የሚፈጽመው ጨፍጨፋና የአፋር ህዝብ ላይ የሚፈጽመው ያለህነ ጦርነት ውስጥ የሚያስገባው የአብይ ቡድን ተላላኪዎች ይሄን ነገር ተቆጥቦ ህዝቡን ወደ ጦርነት የትም ሰዓት በድንበር ላይ ያለው ችግር በትግራይና በአፋር የትም ሰዓት ተፈጥሮ አያውቅም። ቢፈጠርም በሀገር ሽማግሌ ሰው ይገደላል። ካሳ የተከፈለ በሁለት በኩል በአፋር የሞተ ሰው ካለ በትግራይ ሽማግሌዎች መጥቶ አፋር ላይ ስንት ማለት ካሳን ይቀበላለን ካሉ እስከ መግደል አምጥቶ የሚያስረክቡበት ሰዓት አለ። ይህ ህግ ያለበት አካባቢ ነው። በባህል የሚኖሩ ህዝብ ነው። ለዚህ ህዝብ ወደ ጦርነት የራሱን አህዳዊያን ስርዓቶች አሁን የሚያደርጉት ምንድነው? ኢትዮጵያ ላይ የነበረ ድሮ የነበረ ኢትዮጵያ አፋር ህዝብ እንደ አራት አሸዋ፣ ዋሎ፣ ትግራይ ምናምን ያሉ የሚከፋፍሉበት የነበረው ህዝብ ዳግም ወደዛ መልሶ የአፋርን መብት ለማርገጥ መብቱን ተረግጦ አፋር ህዝብ እንዲኖር ነው። ጦርነት ልመን እንጀምራለን ያሉ ነው። እነ ኮሎኔል አስማሐማድ ሌሎቹም ከፍተኛ መንግስት አካላት የነበሩ ወደ ትግራይ ሰራዊትና ወደ ሀራ መሬት በዞን 4 ያለው አካባቢ ላይ የሚንቀሳቀሱት ለምንድነው? ለምን እንጀምራለን? ምን አስፈለገ ወደ ጦርነት? ጦርነት ትግራይኛ ላይ አልተወከሰንም፣ ትግራይ ላይ አልተወከሰንም፣ ህዝብ ላይ አይደለም። ይሄ ነው ጉዳዩ። ግን በብዛት እነሱ ያሰቡበት አላማ ደርሷልና በዚህ አላማ ለማሳካት እኛ ከትግራይ ህዝብና ከትግራይ ህዝብ ላይ የተፈጸመ በአለም ላይ ያልተፈጸመ ነገር አይደለም። ሀቅ ስላለ ነው ይሄን ነገር እስካሁን ድረስ ትግራይ ህዝብ ያለበት ቦታ የደረሰው በህዝብ ብዛት አይደለም ወይም በሌላ አይደለም። ግን የሀቅ ላይ የተመሰረተ ትግል ስለሚያደርጉት በሀቅ ላይ የተመሰረተ ጉዳይ ላይ ይሄን ቦታ ስላደረሱት እኛ ደግሞ እነሱን ጎን ሆነን በኤርትራ ያለው አፋር በኢትዮጵያ ያለው አፋር ያለው አንድ ችግር ነው። በኤርትራ ያለው በሲያስ የሚመራ ቡድን በአፋር ህዝብ ዘር ማጥፋት የአፋር ህዝብ ባለበት ሁኔታ እንዴት እንደነበሩ አሁን በስደት የሚኖሩ ሰው አፋር ህዝብ በኤርትራ ውስጥ በስደት ሄደው የሚኖሩ በአንድ ቤት ውስጥ 2-3 ሰራተኛ ቆጥረው የሚኖሩ የነበረ ህዝብ ናቸው። ግን አሁን በስደት ተገላጦ ምድራቸው ጥሎ የሚኖሩ ህዝብ ናቸውና በዚህ ነው ያለው ችግርን ለመፍታት አብረን ለማስራት ሌሎች ኃይሎች ጋር አብረን ማስራት ያስፈልጋል። ይሄንን አመሰግናለሁ።
Thank you. Before we go to Brother Jonas, is Brother Haidra Idris Ethiopian Afar or Eritrean Afar? Ethiopian Afar. Okay, that shows unity. So we have Eritrean and Ethiopian Afar here, speaking in Amharic, Afarian, English. This is excellent. Many of the people are listening and watching. I can't read Arabic, but there's people writing in Arabic and speaking
Arabic, Tigrinya.
In Tigrinya, right? Did you want to?
I think there is. I think Brother Noor is somewhere in the audience. He wants to speak in Tigrinya. If you can give it to him. He's in
Brother
Facebook.
Noor, I don't see on here.
So on Facebook.
Okay, I see him right now. I'm going to add him. I just added Brother Noor. Go ahead, Brother Noor. After that, we go to Jonas, if you're there.
Salam, Captain.
Salam.
Salam,
Brother Noor. How are you? Go ahead.
سمعني لها.
If you guys are unmuted,
هو
mute.
قديما استحتتني لتدقاقمي أبزاناي لولا ونتن وكان عفر قداي كتمسن كلها عفر كل جزء تنسلتي وكان حاجر كديفهم وكان حاجر كسر الفيديو بس زربتها تيجي ربيو مالك. أنا بتحدى وكان دنكالة زي بالله كنت هولي تمت بايكا الشنتيو إيرترا عفر كان نحدنت إيرترا كبستقالسون نحدنت إيرترا كم بين عينهم زتمتو كابتن بيرات حديو كويتا تفليو هان خالص خدولو ويزوه قولو مرتشاتكم كايلنكا سلازي تحدنت أب إيرتان لونت إيرتان مكل خال نخالوت نخحقوسو ويكا نخالوت نخحرقو زيكونو نمنتو رؤسهم يوتي تقند نقراتي ماتيو هذه كم بوليتيكاوي ناي مجزعتاوي دوبات تعذيب كيم كا كلهم عفر بكلتلو تغنيا بكلتلو تغرب بكلتلو كل منو ببيوز طرف نقرات إلا جن سبات تي ناي مجزعتاوي دوب تقبلهم أبتو نبرو له حجر مستزلو حزب نخون نبرو خاي قدوديهم جن إنت مبزح تجيزو تي عفر كونو سوريو يدليو عفر كاك قلو فوز دوليو ببزح الدقاقين كادما بوغن عفر زي كونه بخالقوت سبات
Continue. I think he got
Okay.
kicked out. Continue, Brother Noor. Can you hear me? Okay, until he returns, Jonas, go ahead.
Okay, so I think I was trying to answer your earlier question under what umbrella, and that's an important question. And the main thing is this: from what I learned about reading on the history and then learning speaking to people that experienced the history, is there was never an agreement on how to govern. And so if a group of people want to become in solidarity, they have to come in agreement on how to govern, because that will give them incentive on knowing where the future is going to be. And so that'll give them more incentive to work together in solidarity for anything. But if everyone is going for what they think to be the future, then I don't think Eritrea would even got its independence if they knew what they know now. So knowing how to have an agreement and understand on how to govern is step one. And then step two could be the military efforts or logistic efforts or any kind of efforts to get what you want in solidarity to get that independence. That constitutional decentralized government. So the idea has to be, what are we going to be 6 months from now? What are we going to be 9 months from now? If we're in agreement on that, then we can work together and move forward. And that will create the unity everybody's looking for, the solidarity everybody's looking for. And then last thing is for Brother Ahmed, if you can answer this one. There's a question about RSADO. That was the organization that existed, RSADO, the acronym. And so if you can elaborate on that, and then if you want to add to what I just said right now. Oh, as far as the umbrella, Global Yaka Movement is an umbrella. Eritrean Political Forces, Bright Future, EANC, these are all political organizations that are being endorsed, and then there's more. And the reality is, as long as you're focused on the foundation of justice and recognizing each other's rights and the inclusivity, those key components is critical. Any organization that does not believe in inclusivity, there's enough evidence saying that's not sustainable and it's not going to work. There's enough evidence for that. So because of the diversity, the governance and so forth needs to reflect the diversity, needs to reflect rights, and needs to reflect justice in order for you to have peace. It's a mathematical equation. It's not complicated. Now we have to go do it, is what I'm getting at. But go ahead, Brother Ahmed, if you can answer that RSADO question, and if you want to elaborate what I just said.
Good. Very good questions. Very, very, very interesting topics. I mean, this is what people talk about a lot, and this is what the concern of Eritreans need to be there. I think Brother Noor was explaining in Tigrinya, as we speak in English or Afar, maybe there's misunderstanding amongst our Eritrean brothers and sisters, that the unity or what umbrella you fight for is very clear. We said it's a two different organization, one fighting for its right in Eritrea, one fighting its right in Ethiopia. So the unification of the people, like they said, some people, the question was, is Eritrea's sovereignty or integrity is intact? It's not going to be changed by us. It will be the choice of people, like they were talking about. So as we speak, Eritrea is an independent country. Ethiopia is an independent country, and that should be the answer. The having to fight against oppression. This is not the first time people from Ethiopia and Eritrea unite, and there's many examples amongst the Afar, the Somalis, the Oromos, even TPLF and EPLF. I mean, the history is there. So all of this is to say that the struggle can achieve its goals without breaking the internationally recognized borders or the integrity of other country. So that's not a problem. Now, And the question of Arsado, you mentioned Arsado. Arsado is insignificant in terms of the Afar. They are represent Red Sea Afar Democratic Organization. They don't even call themselves Eritrean Afar because their name was given to them by the Amharas, Red Sea. Those Amharas who seek Red Sea that's where they got their name. The people of the Eritrea in Dankalia is known as Afar in Dankalia, as Eritrean Afar. So Arsado is a fake puppet and insignificant group of people who are using bad name for the Eritrean Afar. We know them because we were with them. Right now, as we speak, they are fighting on the side of Abiy and Isaias. So that tells you how much they care about Eritrean causes. So, but in the name, they call themselves Eritreans. You see them all over the place. I see some comments coming from them because they are enemy of Eritrean Afar. This has been proven, and we have had so much confrontation with them in the past. So to us, they are insignificant group that is there, are opportunistic group that is always working against the Afar in Eritrea, I mean.
Thank you, Brother Ahmed. Just like everywhere else in our opposition groups, we have what we call ankafti, right? Even though majority of us just want the solution, some of us want the solution fast, some of us are willing to work with anyone to get the job done. As you're working towards a better goal, you always have, Eritreans know this very well, different organizations, self-interest groups, any organization that supports dictatorship is not an organization. It's a terrorist group, period. That's what people have to be able to figure out and decipher for themselves. If you're for freedom, if you're for liberation, if you're for the freedom of the people, if you're for capturing and maintaining the historical ideologies, values, culture of a people, you're on the right side. If you're for genocide, if you're for destruction, if you're for selling things that are not yours, if you're for selling ports that don't belong to you by empowering individuals that are dictators, this is terrorism. You can't do things by force. So it's either you're on the right side of history or you're wrong side of history. The good thing about what we got going on here is everyone believes in freedom. Everyone believes to maintain what's yours, your land, your Bahari, your people. But sometimes if people have to work together to achieve these goals, then it's a necessity. But all too often, I don't speak Amharic and I don't speak Arabic well, but I can get the gist of what certain words say, and there's certain individuals writing, and I can see where they're from. But to me, and not to get into religious content or whatever, but to me, whether you're Muslim or Christian or Afarian or Amhat or whatever, it's irrelevant. As long as people fight for freedom and quit trying to hijack people's ideas and create wrenches. Because I see some saying you don't represent all Afarian groups. Well, you're right. He represents Eritrean Afarian. I'm talking for Brother Ahmed, but we have Ethiopian Afarian here. So obviously we have everyone here to represent their people, Tigrina speakers and everything else, right? That's called a powerful movement, regardless of individuals trying to betray the system. We will remove all these people, no matter what happens. You want to highlight on that? Because I didn't know you guys had oppositions within the oppositions and Ankafti. I just learned that right now. So the Rosado are, what is the population of this? Is it Rosado or Rosado? What is the population of the Rosados? Brother Ahmed.
Well, no one knows the numbers, but they're too loud. If you ask me, the number doesn't matter. They're too loud, and the objectives, as on the ground, have been out of Eritrean mainstream, and they have been used and overused by many groups So this is my point. Unless you are clear in your objectives, you know what you want, because they are all over the place. They are in the fight somewhere here. They're in there. They're in there. It's like mercenaries. So that's the kind of people that you want to be avoiding at any cost. This is why we are against them. We don't like how they operate. We don't like how they talk. It is a bad name for the Afar self-determination rights amongst the Eritreans and international. So I want to make clear that we are objecting their whatever they're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the same Higdef mentality that took us in circles for years and years and years. Same Shabianism, same Higdef mentality. You do good work, somebody comes along to stop you. You want freedom, somebody disagrees with your freedom. Freedom is a God-given right. It's not something you ask for. It's yours.
And we have, by the way, on this Arsado group, there were report that when Abiy and Isaias made deal, thinking that they were quick to jump on the deal and to make agreement. So they went to through back door, through negotiation, to make deal with Isaias to go back. So how can you make a deal with Isaias when you represent a significant population for the rights of self-determination? I mean, they will do anything. That's why I call them mercenaries. They would do anything to get their foot to get some position or financial gains. So this is why the Eritreans should be aware of Arsado and should avoid them at any cost.
Absolutely. Sounds like a Higdef blueprint playbook. And I'm very well versed on Higdef. So Brother Noor, if you're still around, did you want to finish in Tigrina? Give him a second to unmute. Maybe I'll unmute him. Okay, Brother Noor, you there? You're unmuted. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Noor. I see him, but I don't hear him. He's not unmuting. Okay, we'll go to Brother Shaheen. I'm versed on the recitals, but despite that, I still don't have an answer what your position is on the people of Eritrea that do not want to work with TDF. When I say the people of Eritrea, I understand the Afars are going to unite and do what they got to do for liberation. I get it. But do you require Hizbi Eritrea support? Obviously, the majority of Hizbi Eritrea, right? Some don't want to work with TDF. Some are willing to work with TDF. How do you answer that? That's the magic trick for everyone, to include our movement over here, everyone in Eritrea. That is the magic trick. Some want to work with TDF, by any means necessary, remove its size. Some are like, no, we could do it ourselves. Do you think we could do it ourselves, Brother Shaheen? You're mute. Hold on 1 second. Let me unmute you.
Here you go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start by saying that no permanent enemy in politics, and there's no permanent friend. And we actually at the region Afar organization, we're willing to work with everybody, and as long as it helps our people, and as long as it helps our people and then brings our cause forward, we can work with everybody. That